Brave ships and brave folk from centuries ago strive to find more in the night. Before they could jump, yeah, before space got small, the only way there was to take your time, take a generation, build a shrine to your generation, make your way between the stars, and hope that your children will care for your soul. Achilles was lost to those dangerous computers. Artemis just had one sight. Atlas abandoned except for one poor soul. Demeter turned tribal with no food. Went cannibal, the fighting kept on till they died. Epimetheus had a thief left alone. His rantings recorded as proof. Hyperion had its own second coming. Zechariah, he told them his truth and invented their souls. Take your time, take a generation, build a shrine to your generation, make your way between the stars, and hope that your children will care for your souls. Like a young color virus so dark from an asteroid, medicine cannot save their lives. Odysseus got ill, but they couldn't find the will to just leave their birthplace and turn to their dark place, and no one was left in light. Phineas was lied to, then a secret got out. The factions got lost in the fight. Phobos found Eden, but it just left them bleeding. As aliens ate them and finally followed them into their ships and they died. Spirit hope gone. Venus got a message and everyone started killing. Elysian head raiders raided their red, and the deacon did betray them. Lazarus didn't have enough votes for all the poor souls to depart on. But Golconda had a viral infection, reached out for help from the modern mankind. Take your time, take a generation, build a shrine to your generation, make your way between the stars, and hope that your children will care for your souls. Take your time, take a generation, build a shrine to your generation, make your way between the stars, and hope that your children will care for your soul.
Dynamics, Tango, Oscar, Charlie, Heavy, commencing automated flight control routine. Please observe docking protocols.
You've waited long at the engineer's base ride. No one's here, only landing bay number lights. I appear, fresh meat for the night sharks. We could be friends, so should I drop my guard right? On my shields, I hear you laugh out loud on a stream. Hey boys, another one's coming. Purple lasers fill my Pool feels so empty. Got my meds, been grinding all these rarest finds. Heading out to Seattle Palins. After that, my energy is failing, but I'll take my chance, embrace it all tonight. Purple lasers fill my canopy. There's a frag gun eating right through me. Should've run before revive. Purple lasers fill my canopy. There's a frag gun eating right through me. Should've run before revive. Can I highway before my hole gets rushed? Can I just hide before I eat the dust? Can I just stick to another night? Or an hour of tomorrow, when the bugs won't bite, 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 when the bugs won't bite. Can I wake before my hole gets crushed? Can I just turn before I eat the dust? Can I escape to live another night? Will I be hyper-addicted on my way out there tonight? This game is eating me. I live for it night and day. This game is all for me.
Hello and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders.
Greetings, Commanders.
The show that talks about the universe of Elite
and the development of the computer game Elite 4, known as Elite Dangerous,
and the fantastic
community that surrounds it.
Broadcast from the far end of Sidewinder and hosted by a vending machine technician.
A place of nonsense and innuendo for forum dads.
A self-contained podcast 2 hours long.
Transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
It's even louder than me.
The hottest show this side of Dizzo.
The name of the place.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
To episode 466 of Lave Radio, the show about the universe of Elite and the fantastic community that surrounds it. I'm your host, Commander Phoenix of Fire, otherwise known as Colin Ford, Chief Archivist of Lave Station, and joining me in the orange Sidewinder bar for this episode, we have our SRV Banksy driver, that's Commander Alec Turner.
Good evening, everyone.
We have our Staff Liaison Officer, Commander Psychic.
Hello.
And also we have our Head of Health and Safety, Commander Edelweiss, otherwise known as Ben Moss Woodward.
I'm feeling very threatened here. There's lots of spiky things.
Lovely. If you wish, you can join us live. Ben is hanging out with spiky things at a Barnacle site. Where is it?
I'm in HIP 22460, Planet 3, Barnacle Site number 3, which is according to canon, a barnacle forest.
Ooh.
Which yes, I think is basically what they say is, there's more than one of these big barnacle things.
Yeah, lovely.
And there are many barnacle things here.
I can see that. It's lots of them. So if you can't join us live, then join us in the Twitch chat channel, which you can access through laveradio.com/live. Click on the live chat. Otherwise, go straight to twitch.tv/laveradio. We're there. We're also live on Facebook, YouTube, and XE Twitter, or excrement, or whatever you want to call it these days. So let's go around the team, see how they've been this week, and let's start with Alec.
Start with me.
You've had a busy week.
Do it. I have in-game, out-of-game. Important sticky bun update. I attempted to take my next sticky bun into work in a box, and that didn't work either. So I have now abandoned sticky buns in favour of almond croissants, which survived the journey nicely. What else have I been up to? Out of game, went for nice big slap-up breakfast at a garden centre. Went with my son to the driving range because it was pissing with rain, so we couldn't do the pitch and putt golf course that we usually do. So we got the machine to dispense 100 balls and slam those down the range for half an hour, which is jolly good fun. In game, I had a bit of an odd week, actually. This is a sort of in-game, out-of-game thing. It's a bit sad news, really, but on Saturday, but interesting story as well. On Saturday, I received an email that somebody, a commander called John Derbyshire, had sadly passed away the previous Monday. I'm telling this story because I think it's interesting, because we all know each other largely by commander names, even often when we go to conventions. But the name John Derbyshire seriously nagged at me. It was one of those, I know this guy, but I can't place who he is. It was a
The
lovely
name
email.
does ring a bell.
Indeed, it was a lovely email from a friend of his, actually his bartender, who regaled me with some lovely stories about how John used to pop into his pub every day and tell him about the latest buckyball race and how much fun he was having. So anyway, I trawled through sent email. I contacted a few people. I trawled through sent emails because obviously I can't announce the wrong person by mistake. Anyway, I tracked John down. He was known as Commander Bethrael Mithrana, and used the forum name New Model 15. So actually quite a blow, because I'm well aware of New Model 15. He actually took part. His first buckyball race was the first race I ever hosted back in 3301, called the Bump and Grind Outpost Dash. That was John's introduction to buckyball. He signed up for the Fuel Rats in the same year, so I guess there may be some Fuel Rats listening that knew John.
I would guess Terakov might, if he does.
Yeah, and he took part in numerous races over the intervening years, and I was sort of mildly startled to realise that actually he submitted his last run for Prison Break 2, which was the race just before the last one, right at the end of October. Not quite sure what happened. It was all a bit sudden, apparently. I might be getting more details, but anyway, so I just wanted to send a fond salute to a fallen commander and buckyball racer. Yeah. In other in-game news, I continued to try out the Elite Dangerous French adventures. It's nice to see they're getting a lot of attention. Actually, they got a shout out on Burpit. It was actually in the Burpit Discord where I first sort of heard about them, in their kind of promote your things section. And they've also got a mention on Loose Screws, so they're getting lots of lovely attention now. Yeah,
and on Card Frequency.
Did they? Excellent.
Yep.
Okay, I didn't pick up on that. Brilliant. Yeah, completed my third adventure, so I'm slowly climbing my way up the league table, and they've been consistently excellent. So
You might find some new voices on there soon.
right, I saw they were putting out a call for voice actors. Okay, interesting. Noted. I will listen.
They have put calls out for voice actors. So if anybody is interested, it's all on the website as well. It's cool. They're nice people.
Excellent. Good stuff. Yeah. And then after that, I switched to. I've been distracted by these Spire sabotage missions, which I think we will come on to later. But they're bloody fantastic, and I have lots to say. That's been my week.
Excellent. We will pass over to Ben.
So yeah, out of game, I've had the only exciting in inverted commas thing I've done this week was going with a fairly significant portion of the extended family to see the Marvels, and then we all went out for dinner with the kids and things. I find it a very funny film, so I can understand why some people are, what the hell is this rubbish? But I went into it and I basically started laughing within a couple of minutes of the film starting, and I'm not convinced I stopped for more than 2 minutes until the end of the show. So
I assume it's meant to be funny.
I would assume it's meant to be funny as well. Yes, at least I hope it's meant to be funny, because if it wasn't, they did the wrong thing.
Yeah, nothing worse than a film that's undeliberately funny.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the level of absurdity in it is dialed up to 11. It has to be deliberate.
Yes, my wife and son went to see it, and she started describing things about brains that hatch kittens with octopus mouths, and it sounded absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, that's fair. I think as if you've been anywhere on social media and seen anything about it, the actress who plays Ms. Marvel, Iman Vellani, I think is her name. She stole the show. Her acting was every time she was, all of her interactions were just a delight and a joy to see. Yeah, she was just great in it. Definitely MVP of the show. Out of real life, in game. I wound up actually. This is why I'm here tonight. I was going to go off and have a look at your Barnacle Spires, Alec.
Right.
But then I was like, you know what? Before I go to the Barnacle Spires, maybe I should go and get myself a bigger, better, resistant
cargo rack, the corrosion resistant cargo rack.
corrosion resistant cargo rack. So like, okay, well I can go get myself some metal alloys, and I popped over to Merope, which used to be my metal alloy hunting ground, only to find that place looking deader than a highly polluted coral reef. I then got in touch with LCU and Canon, saying, "Hey guys, do you know where we can find living barnacles? Because whenever I go and do a Google on barnacle sites, it's coming up with all these sites in the Pleione and so on, but they're all dead now. Do we have anywhere that's living?" And LCU was like, "Yeah, we have some, not many, and we haven't really been doing much on them or updating them and things like that. Would you mind going off and having a look here?" So I told him I would come out to HIP 22460 and have a look at the barnacle sites here, which are well, there's 3 of them, and they are all alive and well. And one of them is a barnacle forest, which is the spiky boy that I'm flying around. You do have to be careful of Thargoids coming in and saying hi. They haven't come down to this site yet today, but they were at the other site when I was flying around there. But this basically led to I had such a noob moment. I'm embarrassed with this actually. I got to the site ready to have a look around and things like that, only to realize that my Anaconda didn't have an SRV bay in it.
That should have been on last week's show.
It should have been. It's just like, oh, you muppets.
That is a really dumb thing that people do all the time. We should have remembered that.
Yeah. It's like I got to the place and I got to the place and the thing. I was like, oh, I knew I needed a planetary probe place. So I was like, I knew I had that, but getting somewhere without the right tools, I was like, oh, you knob. And then when I was driving around this environment last night, I managed to make myself feel very sick because it is very, very bumpy. And usually I've been fine driving around SRVs, but just I don't know if it's the new terrain or if it's just this place is just so bumpy. And I mean these bumps are as big as your SRV.
It does look especially bumpy.
But oh my god, I was going to be doing it in VR because, I'm not going out on foot. You're fine. And I'm so glad I didn't do it in VR, man.
I have to say, Ben, we were talking
Mhm.
about this just before the show, but this is real news to me that the barnacle sites, the much loved old barnacle sites, most of them are sort of
Most of them appear to
wrecked
be
and dead.
Yeah, most of them appear to be dead, and Canon are kind. I don't want to put words into LCU's mouth. They know that some of them are dead because he knew that the one I was at was dead.
Yeah. Because it was my understanding that they were a bit like sort of mining hotspots, that they would get sort of, if people went and shot them all up, they'd stay shot up for a little while, but then the next
they'd
day
recover.
or a couple of days later, they'd be regenerated again. So I'm fascinated to know when this happened. When did they start dying?
I think I remember things dying down. I want to say almost a couple of years ago.
Wow. It has been a long time since I've actively.
Yeah, I've
pursued
not looked for any of these things for a good couple of years, so it might have just passed me by. But I don't remember barnacle forests being a thing either.
Well, I've known that barnacle forests were a thing.
Okay, I didn't know there were places with like 4 or 5 of the barnacles all at the same place.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing anywhere as visually spectacular and horrific as this is. It's always been 1 or 2 barnacles and then a ring of spiky things around them. So according to Terakov, LCU is saying more barnacle sites have gone missing recently. So yeah.
Right. That's weird.
Oh, okay. Oh God, yeah. Welcome to live news. Waterspoon is saying the Pleiades sites have been dead for at least 5 years.
Yes.
Get the butthole.
Got my finger on the pulse here.
Amazing. Lave Radio, your topical news show about Elite Dangerous.
Terakov was asking if LCU has more gone. LCU wasn't sure, and it's not something they've been actively investigating, Terakov, which is why LCU was like, Aid, could you come out and have a look at this place and get back to me? So I did.
And in other breaking news that we'll be covering later in the show, apparently Jack's station has jumped into the centre of the galaxy somewhere.
Yeah. So yeah, it was fun, and I was having an absolutely horrendous time doing all this kind of stuff, playing video games till about 1 a.m. yesterday.
Lovely.
But dead game, isn't it?
Yeah, dead game. Right, Claire.
I can't imagine doing anything till 1 o'clock in the morning, like playing video games until 1 o'clock in the morning. Oh no, wait! I was playing Baldur's Gate 3 with my sister on my Twitch channel until fucking midnight last night, and I cannot believe it went on for that long. Something like right, okay. Something so kismety with the story happened. And I've got 500 hours in the game. I've never experienced this before. I didn't go to sleep. I didn't actually actively fall asleep until I saw 5 o'clock this morning, because I was still thinking about how perfect it was in a story. For a story beat, for the parallels in the story beat, it was the sexiest thing that has ever happened in a video game, and I was so excited about it. And it didn't feature any vampires. There was no vampires about it. It was very good, and I'm still buzzing about all of that. I've done some. What else have I done? Like, I haven't been out the house because it was raining on the Sunday, so we didn't go out. I have done some Cyberpunk. I have done some Elite Dangerous. I've been playing with the new Spire things, which have been a lot of fun. Actually managed to complete like a whole loop, and it's very rewarding, and I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit later. I feel like now, like, all of the strikes have got resolved. I feel I'm now in a position to be able to wax lyrical about Loki, because yes,
you mean the SAG-AFTRA trust and so on.
Yeah. I'm sure Marvel is I'm sure the Marvels is passable and fun, and I cannot wait to watch it. I think it's going to be a really good romp. But Tom Hiddleston is carrying the MCU at the moment on his beautiful shoulders. Yes. Oh my fucking God. That series is a masterpiece. It's an absolute masterpiece. Do not say anything that might involve spoilers.
I haven't started yet. I was waiting until they've all been released before I listened.
They've all released.
Yeah, they've all released. Were you expecting a flick moment?
Nope.
No.
Nope. I wasn't expecting anything. It's the first time watching a show like that I've managed to remain spoiler free. Because I'm normally such a bitch for spoilers. I will go and find them. Husband will tell me. So I oh my God, So I watched all of that, and I watched the last episode and cried. I've been there's so much good stuff out there at the moment, and so much good narrative, both in games and TV and video and movies and all of that stuff. There's a lot of amazing, beautiful stories, and we're like, it's such a good time. And then I cried at the Golden Joysticks, and then I cried at the Game Award nominations because I am fragile. And I've also been playing a fair amount of the new Warhammer game that Frontier have just released. Or
the Sigma one.
Sigma, yeah. It's a nice simple title that rolls off the tongue. Warhammer Age of Sigma Realms of Ruin. Nice and simple, catchy title. But it is excellent. It crashed a few times today, but it is excellent. All of the cutscenes are motion captured, and you can tell, and it is wonderful, and the characters are really engaging. And while I am shit at real-time strategy games, I am very much enjoying the story. I'm just terrible at it. So I will play that. I will at least play the campaign on easy through to completion, because it's a good romp. That comes out. The deluxe edition. If you've got the deluxe or another thing, it came out today. But it comes out in 3 days for those with the normal purchase. It's a fun game. Frontier have done a good job. For anyone concerned about Frontier not doing a good job or things along those lines, it did crash a lot today. I was very frustrated, but we managed to work our way through it. It was just crashing on one mission at a particular point, and then it was perfect and it was fine. But yeah, Frontier doing well. Well done, Frontier. Congratulations. But yeah, that's about it. I haven't really done much else, really.
I assume you are very, very happy with how the award things went.
Oh fuck yeah! Holy shit! What a beautiful again. What a beautiful time to be playing video games, because there's some wonderful ones in there. I feel a little bit sorry for Starfield. Like a little bit sorry for Starfield. In that
it's not their fault.
I feel like they had an expectation, and had it not been for some of the incredible quality games that have come out, had it been, for example, had Starfield released in the year that It Takes Two won Game of the Year, then maybe it would have been in more categories. But as it happens, it isn't. And
there have been a lot of good games this year.
There have been a lot of good games, but I find it really interesting that there are comments from people saying there aren't a lot of good games this year. That's why Baldur's Gate is getting so many nominations, because any other year Baldur's Gate wouldn't get nominations. And it's like, have you played? Have you genuinely sat there and played the game?
They've not played that game.
Exactly.
I feel sorry for Final Fantasy 16, because I was really looking forward to it. I was really impressed with it. And then Baldur's Gate 3.
Well, Ben Starr is probably going to win Best Performance. Who played, I want to say, Clive, yeah. I think he's probably going to get best performance over Neil Newborn and over Yuri. I think it's going to be between the three of them, and I think it's going to be quite close, but I think Ben Starr will grab it. I was just glad that
Yuri's Spider-Man, isn't he?
Yeah. I was just glad that the Golden Joysticks had supporting and fuck off, Epaphras. I thought it was I'm sorry, I don't know where that came from.
Wait, what?
Oh dear.
I think it was good that the Golden Joysticks had best performance and best supporting performance, because it gave them both the opportunity to shine. I think it's just magnificent in this year that people who are portraying characters so earnestly and so beautifully have managed to get have managed to do just such an excellent and amazing job, and also portraying a diverse group of characters in as far as like their sexuality and things like that is concerned. It's been a really, really good year for a little bit more sort of fluidity in that way. Do you see what do you see where I'm coming from with
Yes,
that?
I know exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's nice to not just have to play a heterosexual man. Thank you.
Can I just ask a quick question? Actually, if in the main performance, who would you say the main performance in BG3 is? Because everybody's kind of supporting, really.
So okay,
it's such an ensemble cast.
It is an ensemble cast, absolutely. If you go by top build, as far as that, you would say it's Amelia and then Neil, as far as like the cast is concerned. So it's narrator and then Astarion. So and then I think it then goes to Shadowheart as the next one down.
I think, wasn't Amelia down as
she was? Yeah,
as well.
She absolutely was. She absolutely was.
So was the narrator, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was Amelia, wasn't it?
Amelia is
Amelia Tyler is the narrator.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's been an incredible year for games, and I am not surprised that Starfield has not had the nods that maybe some Bethesda fans were hoping for.
It's quite ironic.
And that's me being super fucking diplomatic.
It's quite ironic that No Man's Sky got best game people still play.
Yeah. I thought that was wonderful. I love that.
Well, I do like the fact, I mean, they have put out so many updates to that game, and they have turned around everything. So
they deserve everything they're getting.
Yeah. So, but I'm hoping one day that Odyssey gets the recognition it deserves in the same way. Right, let's have a quick look over what I've been doing. Well, too much Final Fantasy 15 and 7 this week. Far too much. I just got to the Cloud cross-dressing and dancing scene, which was absolutely hilarious. So that was, yeah.
That was a thing?
It is a thing, and it's absolutely fantastic. I would recommend watching it for the hilarity. I've also been making the birds feel sick in an SRV using VR by jumping off the spires. Honestly, I now know how Wile E. Coyote feels when he goes off and then just plummets. And I've also signed up for the Elite Dangerous site. I didn't get number 300. I was aiming for 300, but I'm something like 298 or something like that.
Oh, I see.
I know.
As in 200th person to join, 298th person to join.
Yeah, but 298th person. I wanted the 300, so then I can shout, "This is Sparta." But obviously, it didn't happen. So after all that, we will go on straight to the community news because obviously with Age of Sigma, I have to be so careful to say it's not Age of Smegma because I'm not a fan of that particular Warhammer thing. But
yeah, me either. I've got no idea what's going on all the time. But it's great. It's a fun story.
Well, I know. I know the general gist of it. It's just I don't know. Maybe I'm just Warhammered out. The community news we have from Rootstat a last interview with Sally Morgan Moore. I haven't had a chance to catch up with this. So
Wait,
has anybody?
No. Well, I wonder if I listened to it because I'm. This was from a few months back, and I definitely remember following Rootstrat's stream. I think it was a charity live stream, maybe. So I suspect I've already heard it, but I'm going to listen to it again anyway. Yeah, good interview apparently. Yeah,
Excellent. So that's something to catch up with yet. I must admit, I only heard about this sort of like about half an hour ago, so I haven't had a chance.
Yeah, he posted it on the forum today, actually, and then I sort of suddenly thought, oh, gosh, that's interesting. People would like to hear that, I'm sure.
Excellent. We also have the Starburn community event with a cinematic showcase. Oh, by goodness. By Oraxis Animus. Okay, everyone take a drink. I know I've got that wrong.
No, that was right.
What?
Oraxis Animus. That was correct.
Sounds
that was correct. You see what happens when you take a pause to read the thing before you actually read it? It makes a world of difference, Colin, when you actually read the words you're supposed to be saying. It's great.
Gosh.
That's harsh for someone who's dyslexic. Yes. Yeah.
Well, take a pause, mate. It's all good.
I actually saw this video last week. I nearly threw it into last week's community section, but we had so many other things that I don't know, didn't quite make the shortlist. But then a forum thread popped up by the guy. I think it's the guy who made the video. I'll just read out the little line that he wrote actually because I thought it was quite nice. But so he took part in a community event basically and made a cinematic showcase of some of the shenanigans. And he wrote, I was lucky enough to be able to take part and record footage from the community event organised by the folks at Elite Events. Not quite sure what that group is. I'm going to have to do some research. In the vastness of space and all the emptiness, these things make the community feel most important part of the game. This is a nice change from chasing missions, purging Thargoids, relogging for materials, farming and running away from gankers. I applaud all the community groups organising such, and I will try to get involved more. And we'll put a link in the show notes to the forum thread that he started and this very nice cinematic video that he's made.
Yeah, that was the community makes this game, and community events reflect that in a big way. The forum thread, wasn't it?
Yes, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. It's something I'm catching up with because of I got distracted on the forums because someone said post your 3D miniatures, so I did.
I thought somebody was wrong on the forums.
No, don't believe it.
No, neither do I. Yes, Commander Solo, who was on foot, took on 5 Banshee interceptors.
This is incredible. Has anyone seen it?
Yep. Yes, I have.
It
Yes,
is
I have.
incredible,
This is
isn't it?
bonkers.
Yeah,
it is
good.
bonkers. As someone who struggled to take out one on yesterday, as someone, oh my god, this is
I haven't even tried, but it's really skillful. I mean, he hasn't. It's
Yeah.
not even all grade 5 gear. He shows his gear at the end. He's in a Dominator suit, obviously, so he's got 2 main weapons and a sidearm. But there's just beautiful use of things like the shield grenades when he needs them to, give his shields time to recharge and go out for another sprint. And it's not even one at a time. I mean, he's got like 3 on him at certain points, and he's just zigzagging and weaving and basically constantly shooting them in the nuts. It's
we
absolutely glorious.
mentioned this yesterday, didn't we? We were talking about it yesterday. Am I
Probably
right in
on
thinking
your
that?
stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just,
It almost sounds as if the Thargoids need an extra layer of protection that will help against the infantry.
No, they don't. It's so tricky, Colin. It's so tricky for the rest of us. Don't make it harder for the rest of us. This guy is not the normal. This isn't the norm.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've got to catch up on that then because I definitely want to see this. Now we'll be obviously talking about this quite soon, but there are 2 videos here. One from Meccan. Oh, it's 3 now. Oh, including. Oh, yeah, of course. I didn't see the one at the bottom.
There's a really good one.
Yeah. Yes, all 3 of them by Meccan, and then there's Ricardo's Gaming and Alec, and the lovely Alec Turner.
Who's that? Who that? We'll have to find out more about him. Maybe we could get him on the show once or twice.
Get him on.
We'll have a word. We'll have a word with him.
He sounds like a right twat.
Well, you would know, Ben.
Right. Well, yes, it's all about sabotaging the Thargoid spires. And we'll be talking about these missions in depth in a bit, I think. So, yeah.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can everyone hear me? Because
Yes.
It's Virgin Media has been awful.
Just listening
for
to
me.
what you were saying.
Yeah, Virgin Media has just been awful for the last couple of days. Everyone's just cutting out. Right. It's even not as bad as last week, mind. Right.
We got you, Cole.
Yeah, the in-game events of what has been happening this week. Oh, before I forget, If you do have a community event taking place soon and you'd like us to shout about it across the airwaves, tweet the crew at Lave Radio, email info@laveradio.com. I've now got access to that, so I am checking it.
Holy shit. Wow.
You mean it's not just me reading your email now?
Amazing.
Yeah, and the amount I'm just shocked at the amount of we hear.
Oh, the amount of shit we get.
Oh,
God.
I know. Yeah, would you like to a demo of this latest band? We're not that kind of radio show. Yes. Anyway.
Yeah, or I'm doing SEO and so on.
Oh, doing SEO. Doing SEO, people know this is going to be a huge tangent, and it's only going to be interesting to like maybe 3 people. So I'll stop. Do my fucking head in. Just creative things. Jesus Christ.
And relax, Claire. Deep breaths. Otherwise, I'll go full ASMR mode just to try and calm you down.
GTFO. Right. Jesus Christ.
Oh, sorry, talking about GT. The Grand Theft Auto 6 stuff.
No, we're moving on. We're moving on. We're moving on. We're moving on.
But Mummy!
Any other business, Ben? Any other
I can't exactly go but daddy, can I?
I'm your daddy.
I've only got only Daddy Savlon's my daddy.
Well, fair.
Yeah, that's true. In-game events, what has been happening this week? Well, on the 10th of November, Palin makes Thargoid Spire Breakthrough, which was effectively, he says that these spire sites are refineries that refine fuel or supplies for the Titans, which would explain what those yellow docks are, because you've seen Orthuses come and go from there, and they dock with a yellow point on the spire and then fly again. They're obviously taking something from this refinery and taking it up to the Titan.
Oh, wait, are you saying that the yellow portal in the spire goes to the Titans? That's an interesting.
No, I'm saying that's just a dock.
Okay,
it's just a dock. So that's where it, they fly in, fuel up.
Oh, I see.
Fly out again, and then they fly up to the to the Titan and dock in the yellow port.
Something truly amazing for a second there, that they fly into the spire and then appear magically inside the Titan, and they've got a wormhole.
Titan teleporter or something.
But no, as you were. I think I may have overexcited myself with that thought.
Stop overexciting yourself.
Yeah, it's basically it's their refueling hub.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's, am I right in thinking this basically coincides with the suspicion that barnacle sites like the one I'm at are basically gas stations for Thargoids?
Yeah, I think these are gas stations for Titans.
Yeah. Oh God, what would be absolutely amazing? Wouldn't you just love to see a Titan coming down to one of these to refuel?
Shifting the planet's gravity ever so slightly with its sheer girth.
Maybe anti-gravity stuff.
Yeah, it'd be like all those epic science fiction films where you see the shadow creeping across the landscape.
Oh gosh,
that would be so epic, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
In a oh shit, we're all going to die moment, but
Yeah, in one of those moments, that sounds good. Yeah. Have we lost Colin? I think we might have lost Colin.
Oh, we might. Are we losing him? We might.
So then we had on the.
Did we want to use this moment to talk about the Thargoid Spire stuff?
I think we can probably I suppose we could. I haven't even looked to see what our discussion was going to be. Yeah, no, we can talk about it.
Seems as good a place as any.
Yeah, for sure.
They're good, aren't they? I think they are.
Man.
Actually, that doesn't do it justice. I think they are bloody brilliant in lots of different ways.
Yeah, I would agree.
I really like the two-parter thing. That feels really neat way of, as they've sort of introduced different mechanics at the Titans and things, some of it signal boosted or signposted, some of it we kind of had to work out ourselves how to do. I really like this, just a mission that says, go and do this thing and bring me some stuff, and then another mission that says, right, here's your thing, go and, I don't know, it's really cool. I wish they'd done more of this. I think it's great.
An interesting way around the like a linked mission thing. Rather than being a linked mission, you only unlock the next phase of the mission, let's say, if you have the reward from the other thing. So it's conditional rather than a direct link, which I really, really, really like.
Yeah, I mean, we all knew this mission was coming, but it's great, and I love how the scenario of I love how what you do is so mixed in terms of
Yes.
ship, SRV, on foot. It's the thing we've been talking about for
We've
like
been begging
years.
for that since Odyssey came out.
Combat, please.
All
Yeah.
in there, and not only is it all in there, but there's loads of different ways of doing this. I watched you on stream using you've got to go in on foot to sort of activate the semi-refined mineral thing where you have to shoot the two nerve clusters and then shoot the thing in the wall and it falls out. So you have to do a little bit of on foot, but then some people are using a ship with limpets to scoop the stuff up. Some people are using SRVs. Some people are going in on foot and basically, going in guns blazing and getting rid of all the revenants and banshees first. Some people are going in teams, and one team member runs distraction and the other sneaks in. There's so many different ways to do it. It supports whatever gameplay you fancy. It's brilliant.
It's very cool.
Yeah, I have to admit, I mean, I've not gone to the Spires to do the missions yet, but I loved hanging around the Spires the other week, and I'm delighted that they've now got missions involving the Spires too. I mean, it's the kind of thing. We've got so many bloody amazing locations in game, and no reason to go to them.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, whereas these are real hotspots. I mean, there's so many different types of gameplay going on. Some people are doing these missions. Other people are going there because they're still doing the Orthrus money-making thing. Some people are going there because once you poison the Spire, it goes absolutely batshit crazy and throws loads of top-level interceptors at you. So some people are going there to get their
to farm Thargoids.
Does it actually do that? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it goes mental once you poison it. I mean, because of the way I played it in an SRV, and then I just get the hell out of there. I don't really get to see that, but I think if you hang around, there are all sorts of interceptors that spawn at that point. Loose Screws was talking about it, about going there to get their Thargoid combat funk on.
Yeah. The only thing I wish, and I don't know if these might be too big, but yeah, I noticed this yesterday when I was walking around collecting materials. And I was like, oh, you know what I wish I could do? Just like, I've shot the thing off. Let me just now go and pick that mining fragment up and shove it in my backpack. That's the only... Yeah, and I wish... I don't know if I don't know how appropriate that... Yeah, the fact I've got to go around with my SRV, especially because, the places it was going, it's like, okay, so I'm not in a good place for this, but it was like, sort of, let's say you go off and park a mining fragment here, and you can't
that's
get
not going to help because we're a podcast, Ben.
You're right. You go and park a mining fragment deep down someone's some crevasse.
Yeah.
And it's like, how the bloody hell am I meant to get an SRV in that?
Limpets. Collector limpets do a very good job now.
Yeah, but you can't use them to collect. Would it collect mining fragments? I don't know. Metal alloys. But I was also I was hoovering up materials and things as well. And do they hoover up materials?
I would imagine so. In the same way, if you can target them from your ship, you can pick them up.
You can't target because I was manually shooting a couple of Spires when I realized last night that I didn't have my SRV, but I did have limpets. I deliberately went off and shot a few Spires.
Yep.
But I couldn't target metal alloys, and I couldn't target the materials I was shooting off.
You should be able to.
So no, I couldn't. So then
Were
I
you
went
just
off
not
and
close enough? Do you think?
I was right up that metal alloy's arse. I was close
Because
enough.
if you can pick it up with an SRV, you should be able to pick it up with a limpet. If it's not something that you have to physically pick up by hand, you should be able to pick it up from the ground by via Olympic, because you can do all of that with the whatever the shit is called that they need, impure spire material or mineral or something like that.
Yeah, the
And
impure is the one that
contact
drops down from the ceiling, and the semi-refined is the one you
is
have
the one
to
that you
ship
have
through.
to
I'm
tickle the
wondering
bits for,
because
yeah.
I'm wondering with this being Horizon's content
Nope.
rather than Odyssey
I
content.
know people who have like knocked stuff off on the spires. You know, like the spire sites where you used to have, like, not in Odyssey but in Horizons, there used to be clusters, but now you just have to go and find them. They're not marked. You can go and use dumbfire missiles on them, knock them all off, and then use limpets to go and pick them up. Crystal spires, something like that. Crystal forest, crystal spires. Yeah.
I'm insane. Claire, I wanted to ask you actually, because I didn't spot this on this
Or
when you were
science.
when you were using limpets.
Yep.
Did you have to target them, or did you use the limpets in the mode where you definitely don't target anything?
So yes, in answer to your question.
Both.
Yeah, it was it's easier, like, I was in my Corvette, so it was tricky. Because the Corvette is it's so chunky. You don't have to target them. It helps if you can see them a little bit. It helps if you're sort of on the right. It certainly helps if you're on the right side of the gazebo to them, which I found out to my chagrin at some point. But it's you can pick them up. You can you can either pick them up just by deploying a limpet or by focusing on them. I liked to focus on them because it felt like it was I knew I was picking up the thing that I needed.
Yeah, you're after a very specific thing. So it's like, go and get me that. I want that. Bring that back to me. Yeah,
and it wasn't a case that I was doing like a shit ton to stock them up. I kind of really like just getting them in and out. Getting in and out with just the one, and doing the whole. I really enjoyed doing the whole loop. The whole loop took me like an hour and a half. To be fair, right, when I actually the one that didn't fail took me an hour and a half to get the whole loop done, and I think that's kind of a nice gameplay period.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
So my video, which has taken me days and days and days to be able to get, is what I wanted to do is get a complete run through from start to finish of both missions back to back, doing it the kind of stealth way, so using the SRV. And actually what Ben's describing is the bit where I failed the most, is having shot the things down. That tends to start to draw the attention of banshees and revenants. I can typically run back to where I've hidden I found a nice place to hide my SRV. I can typically run back to the SRV undetected, but then driving the SRV back into the gazebo to scoop the things up is a complete bastard, and I've failed time after time after time at that. I mean, I finally got lucky.
And you need 3 items.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So you need 3 items. So logically, your brain says, okay, I know that my the missile that's attached to the Scorpion can one-shot a Revenant. Not a Revenant, a Revenant. The missile that's attached to the Scorpion can one-shot a Revenant. So logically, I would like to take my Scorpion. That said, that's only got 2 slots.
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah. So that's only got 2 slots. So I'm like, well, realistically, would it be easier for me to dash in and out of my Scarab? Which is why I just went fuck it and plowed my Corvette into the top of the gazebo because I was done at that point. Yeah. What's that stealth? Nah, it's just a strange wedge that's just poking out the top of the gazebo. Pay no attention to the bright pink Corvette that's just here. That's okay. Because it's one of those things where you're making a sacrifice each way if you're deciding to do it that way.
Yeah, there's obviously, like I said, there's lots of ways of doing the mission. Doing the way I did it was the most satisfying to me. It felt like it was the way. I don't like to say it was supposed to be done, but it felt like one of the ways that it was supposed to be done. I'm sort of less. I would say I'm less happy with the idea of using limpets to hoover the stuff up from a ship. I don't know why it doesn't quite sit right with me, except that Frontier have been going on in recent patch notes about improvements to limpet
Improving
working
ground
ground
control
level.
and
So,
limpet.
so clearly intended. It's not like we're cheesing it. It's
Yeah.
clearly an intended way of doing this mission. So, yeah, fair enough. It's cool.
It is cool. It is cool. I like the fact that we've got lots of different ways. I like the fact that you have to get the onboard commodities and then it gives you something that you can only carry in your backpack. All of that is really, really cool.
Decent reward too. So 4 million for the first half, 8 million for the second half,
Yeah.
plus 9.
Between 6 and 9, I've seen 7s and 8s as well. So
Yeah, grade 5 engineering materials. So yeah, it's good.
it would be
stuff.
It would be even better if it was like on foot materials as well, if they did a smattering of those, because I picked something up for meth probably. And as I went to turn in the mission to reap my rewards, I was already full of meth. I don't need any more. I'm done with I'm good for meth, gang, just FYI.
Yeah, I
Wait,
quite
what?
like the fact.
Oh,
I quite
welcome
like
back,
the fact. What was that, Ben?
Don't worry, he said welcome back, it's fine,
Colin.
move on.
Well, I mean, what I was going to say, the Burrs pointed this out, that this is the first time where we do on-foot activity to get in-ship mats.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really liking the fact that it's a lot more joined up.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Really joined
Very
up
cool.
mission.
Or have you already pointed that out?
We have.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of talked
We've
about
gushed
that.
about it, but it is awesome.
And all the different ways that you can tackle it as well. And not only is it joined up, but you can really mix and match it. You can do it solo, you can do it with different players, you can do it guns blazing, you can do it stealthy. It supports so many different styles of gameplay. It's great. Hard.
Yeah.
It's difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just delighted, as I've already said, that we've got missions linking to this. It's what we've been asking for, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
More of this, please.
I guess we
Yes,
don't
please.
yet know what the effect is going to be.
No,
Palin
but
says it will. I can't remember. There's some fairly loose wording about it will have an effect on the Titans, but we don't really know what, do we?
Yeah, that's actually quite interesting, which we'll actually touch on in a bit. Well, on Monday, yesterday, there was an announcement from the Federation where Winters, President-elect Winters, says that all the stuff that Hudson is going to try and put through before he leaves office, she's going to just basically get rid of. Obviously it feels like Hudson is trying to sabotage Winters' presidency even before she leaves. So yeah, bit too much like real life, this, isn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Don't feel right.
Yeah, and then today we got a surprise from the Empire, which independent doctor has raised concerns over the Titan returnees, saying that she thinks that there's been some kind of autoimmune response to their captivity, and says that maybe they should be euthanized.
You can take from orbit, and I'm going to be sure.
I mean, it seems harsh, but hindsight will be the judge of that, I guess.
Yeah, it's just. Yeah, welcome back. By the way, here's a bullet. Bang.
It's gross. I don't like it. I've got full ick from it. It's not good.
I mean,
yeah, well, go on.
Well, I was just going to say, minor physiological changes at a superficial level.
Let's kill everyone.
Well, that includes scabs, right? Like if you hurt yourself, your immune system makes a scab. It's like, let's remind ourselves that a scab is a minor physiological change at a superficial level triggered by the immune system's response to. Yeah.
Why don't we just ship them all off to Australia?
Well, that's what they're actually saying. Perhaps we're going to have the equivalent of Thargoid detainee leper colonies.
Yeah, leper colonies.
Or Van Man and Stars, where you're allowed to trade with the station, but you're not allowed to talk to people.
No, that's essentially what the Pilots Federation was originally for?
Yeah, originally we weren't supposed to interact with the.
We're not meant to. Yeah.
Has anyone done the sums? How many people have we rescued now? There must be an awful lot of people somewhere. Might need to start having refugee barges or something.
We have some refugee megaships.
Again, getting close to real life.
Yes, indeed.
Oh dear. Anyway, so the scientists connected with Aegis have refuted the claims, saying that there's no need, although we do agree that they should be, until we're 100% sure. I think we're going to have to keep them in separate, and and they've gone and also said that these Imperial citizens, they should realize that this is their duty to stay separate from other Imperial citizens. So yeah, okay. I mean, it's funny that because the progress in the war is actually has swung significantly in humanity's favor. The AXI, for instance, the AXI have almost reduced the number of Thargoid control systems around the Tanaris maelstrom to 0. Next week there won't be any. There's just the alert systems, and unless they get a successful invasion, which is unlikely, that's it. There's just going to be the Titan system, and that's it.
Wow.
Yeah,
I wonder if anything will happen.
Yeah, be interesting to see. In total, humanity has now reduced the number of Thargoid systems down to 327 from their peak of 1,186. They've lost 72% of the territory in the last 6 months. So if this trend continues, we're looking at the end of the Thargoid War in 3 months.
And that's before we even start poisoning them. So.
Yeah, but it's something to think about. Because we were saying that the rate the Thargoids were going at their height would have taken the bubble 3 years to conquer.
And now we're poisoning them, which surely is going to accelerate things even more.
Oh, who doesn't like a bit of genocide?
I did.
Well,
funnily enough,
need that isolated, and I'm going to need to take that. Thank you.
As I was captioning my video, it's funny. It only occurred to me during the captioning of it, but I did sort of suddenly think, just as I'd sort of inserted the poison and sort of closed the hatch on it, and the thing had gone a different color. I did suddenly think, God, am I Jameson?
You are Jameson.
Yeah, yep. I'm administering mycoid again without, thinking all I'm doing is slowing down production, and it turns out I'm.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm genociding them again. Sorry.
I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know that Palin would.
No.
I think Ramtar would, but I don't think Palin would.
Surely not.
Azimuth definitely would.
Yes. Oh, Azimuth, without a shadow of a fucking doubt. Azimuth want those people to be able to turn them into the Thralls and send them back to the Thargoids so that they can blow up the people. They're going to turn them into bombs. That's exactly what Azimuth wants them to do. That would be the most evil thing to do, would be to take the people and go, actually, no, we're going to give them back to the Thargoids, but they've genetically altered them in that they're just living bombs and they're sending kamikazes, unwilling kamikazes over there. That would be, if I were doing a dirge run in Elite Dangerous. Well, probably, but yeah, I think that's likely what. Yeah, that's a really good point. I wonder how many people that we've rescued from the Titans are also members of the Thargoid cult. I wonder if there's a handful there.
Of that whatsoever.
Yeah, no, we haven't had anything like that. It'll be interesting to find out. I'm sure it's on its way.
Yeah. So, overall, an exciting week, I think. It feels like something has just gone up a ratchet or two, which it's making me think that this, I don't mean to get excited about this, but it makes me think there might be more to this stability patch than just a stability patch. You get the feeling that some momentum is happening here.
I would err on the side of caution and recommend that you do not get your hopes up.
Oh, damn it. Because
this final
what's
poisoning
the
mission.
point of Lave Radio without us
Yeah,
getting
no,
our hopes
because
up?
we
go
do
on the
get our
hype
hopes up,
train.
but I think it's going to come in next year. I think we're looking at next year rather than in a stability patch.
Equally, this Titan this Spire poisoning mission could be the conclusion of this year's kind of things to do, couldn't it? I mean, quite
for sure.
I'm just waiting for the Thargoid strike back.
Maybe some shutdown of the Titans, I suppose.
I'm hoping that this Thargoid strike back happens soon. I mean, Sally did drop a "it's coming" or "they're coming" kind of hint in the show in the patch notes. I don't think she would have done that without good reason. Just I think it's about time that the Thargoids push back.
So are you saying that the thing that was coming wasn't the Spires which came?
No, I think there's something more coming.
I just read it as the update. It's coming.
I just read it as the Spires because that made more sense because they existed.
Well, I guess we just have to wait and see. I'm hoping that there'll be something more to do over Christmas. Anyway, it is that time of the week again.
Store alert!
In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art. In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art. A store alert, a store alert, a store alert, a store alert, a store alert. Which one will you buy? A store alert, 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 a store alert. Which one will you buy?
Well, and welcome back to I can't believe I'm going to say this. It's the Beat Hero 6 packs, I think, that have been made available on the store. Yes, this, if you want to look like I think this is the closest that they've got so far to looking like a Space Marine. Or a Space Marine with
I've heard people saying they're a bit like Doom Guy. If Doom Guy were
Camp.
Yeah.
Camp Doom Guy. Is that what you're saying?
What I actually saw and thought was, so remember, I'm picturing fighting over a long bench with puggle sticks and foam armor. That's what this reminds me of.
Gladiators on my first whistle. You will go.
Basically. It's just I'm picturing something like It's a Knockout or something.
I like them. They've got little ears as well.
I know. Like I said, it's if you took Doom Guy and then put Japanese cat ears on him.
I do think I made this comment. It might have been in our Discord that Frontier are really good at these suit designs. When you think about ship kits and the kind of the ways in which you can customize the look of a ship, and then you think about things like the old-fashioned sort of retro astronaut suits that we've got, and then you look at these suits, and then there's things like there was the fabulous cat helmet that I failed to get a while back that I really loved, and I feel like possibly two departments or small groups of people maybe, and that whoever does the on foot costumes is really on a roll. I feel like they're doing some brilliant stuff. I don't necessarily love them all, but they're so varied and got such strong looks.
Yeah, but here's the moment of truth. Would you buy one?
I might. I really quite like these.
Oh, Ben?
No.
No. It's like it.
If they made one in pink, I might think about it. I'm just going to be honest. But, or purple. I think it might be quite funny to like bound around in this crazy top heavy. There's or closest to like a mech suit. I think they're fun looking. I wouldn't necessarily choose to replace what I already have. I don't think they're better than the retro suit that I already have.
So I keep on getting images from the video for some reason. I don't know why.
No, do you mean the guys on the trampolines?
Yes.
It wasn't the who was it? It was the people.
New Order.
New Order, that's it. Yeah, the New Order video on the yes, that's funny. Yeah.
I just get I'm just getting vibes from that video right now, just looking at them. It just sort of clicked.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I don't know what colours they're in. I'm tempted to get the green one just for the laugh. Mind you, it's a pack, isn't it? So you get all of them.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm tempted. I'll say that. I'm tempted just because I want to see people double over laughing when I turn up on the battlefield with this on. Dear, all it needs now is a cattail.
Oh god.
then we're back in Final Fantasy 14 umbrella.
I was just thinking we're back in Final Fantasy land there, aren't we?
Exactly.
That cat helmet I mentioned, what was that? Was that a Chinese New Year thing or something?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, it was a tiger helmet.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I'm really annoyed that I missed it.
Right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back with our main discussion after these messages.
Imagine if you were born into a dismal world where routine can drag you down, down, down. Somewhere where the very journey of life could become something that you must humbly suffer. At Sard Kruger, we aim to make every trip, every flight, every dream a moment of magnificence and bliss. We craft and design. We meticulously sculpt each ship so you're free from the drudgery and banality of the masses. Choose from the sublimely simple dolphin, the refined yet roguish orca, or the monumentally modest beluga. Each ship is a masterpiece, a shimmering dream of opulence and taste. Fly a Sard Kruger, because life should run like clockwork.
Oh, boy, space, it's cold in here. That commander has a cheek sitting up in his cosy and warm cockpit while we haul radioactives around his cargo bay.
Oh, is it cold? I hadn't noticed.
Oh, that's right. Why, you're not even shivering.
Maybe it's because I picked up this North Coast cargo bay sweater. It keeps me warm and stylish.
Say, that is a nice jumper.
It's made from the finest Verix wool and handcrafted by novitiates in the underground monasteries of Van Manen Star.
Wow. Where can I get one?
New North Coast cargo bay sweaters. Be the envy of your friends. Wow every lady from here to the Empire. Be warm and toasty even on the 10th planet of a dying star. Now on sale at Spark and Mensa.
Better now?
Better? Why, I feel so warm I'll probably never catch man flu again.
Spark and Mensa, because nothing says sexy like a neck-high jumper.
Sweet dreams, little ones. You rest up in your hangar bay, because in the morning, you'll wake up to smell fresh laser fire, because you're in a Federal Corvette. And there's one thing that a core dynamic ship does well, and that's kill ships. Big ships, small ships, wings of ships. We even have a go at booping asteroids. Enemy shields down! Enemy dead! There's no further targets, Commander! That's all you'll ever have to say in a Federal Corvette. Core dynamics! Let's not talk about skimmers.
And welcome back. For our main discussion this week, well, it's quite a big one, so we're actually splitting it over two weeks. So it's the main issue that I think everybody has with Elite Dangerous. At some point, you kind of lose focus. You either burn out or you get to a point where you're in the game and you've achieved everything you thought you wanted to, and you've suddenly went, now what? I mean, obviously, you could argue that FDev could signpost things to do a bit better, but in my opinion, that kind of feeling, that now what feeling, has always been in the Elite games, even through Frontier and First Encounters. So tonight, we're going to discuss what there is extra for newer players to try. After you've got to your big, not your big ship, but you've achieved your first goal, and you're trying to work out what to do next. So let's just say you've got the Cobra, you've A-rated the Cobra, and the Cobra's great, and it's a bit of a jump to go up to the Python or the bigger medium ships. What do you do? So we've come up with a little list of things to discuss, which is I mean, guys, did you have that point somewhere in the beginning of the game?
Well, I was also going to add that one of the reasons I sort of threw this idea in here is it's not just sort of burning out, but it's also I see quite often that people they play the tutorial. They get to the point where they understand the game mechanics. They know how to fly a spaceship. They know how to, do the basic things that the tutorial shows you how to do, and then they're sort of given their Sidewinder, and it's like off you go, and it's like, what do I do? Some people are unfamiliar with this kind of open-ended sandboxy game, and they literally don't know what to do with themselves. So I think it's that as well. It's right at the beginning almost is our sort of recommendations of, okay, you've got your Sidewinder, there's the Galaxy, here's some of recommendations for what you might want to go and do, I think.
Yeah, because it is quite intimidating, actually, the good old learning cliff, because there's you in this tiny Sidewinder, and you've just been chucked out the newbie area, and then you zoom out, and you zoom out, and you zoom out, you see the entire galaxy, and you go...
It's like a cliff and then a massive drop off the other side of the cliff when it's like, oh God, there's so much, I don't know what to do first. I don't know what to do. So, yeah.
Okay then. Well, obviously there are a couple of things that you can do to start building up funds. Obviously, one of the ones which it's kind of fallen out of favor, really, isn't it? There are what's known as rare runs.
Yeah, it's how I started in the game. Because what I enjoyed most was, and I still do to quite a large extent, it's just the travel aspect of, having a spaceship, plotting routes, taking off, flying out. I just, that whole sequence of heading on out and plotting a route and going somewhere and then docking up again, I really enjoy. And rare runs are just a great way to do that, with purpose. I think a lot of players, you start off, you're doing your trade and you're just going backwards and forwards practically between neighboring stations.
Yeah.
And you tire of that and you think, rare runs take you somewhere. They take you on a little journey. There's quite a lot of well-published circuits, and I think those sort of things are great.
Also, the one thing that you need to be aware of rare runs is that pirates do take a lot more notice of you. I found.
Is that true? Are they more attracted
to
rare goods?
Oh yeah. Go on, Ben.
No, it was a no, yeah, but also another thing you need to be aware of is a lot of the rare goods are illegal in some locations.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah, that's a wake-up call.
Find a good guide, I suppose. I don't know if it's still a thing, but I used to do a thing. It was published. It was almost like a little tube map. I think it was called
Yes,
I remember
the
that.
Witch Hall Circuit. Because the thing with rares, I mean, I'm sure everyone listening to this knows, but you know, you have to take the goods a certain distance before they increase with value the further you take them up to a limit. So there's some optimum. I think you want to take stuff like 120 light years or something. So if you do a little circuit, then you're basically dropping off one lot of rares for profit and picking up the next lot and so on, and you just go round and round. So every stop on the circuit, you've got something that you've transported 100 plus light years from its source. So they work very nicely.
Yeah, and because the fact that you only get a very, very limited number of these rares, it does seem ideal for smaller ships to build up profits quickly.
Yeah, it's good profit for small quantity. I mean, you know, anyone who's done bulk trading knows the way to earn profits in normal trade is to carry vast quantities. But yeah, this is a great way to earn money in small ships. So yeah, rare runs,
Yeah.
highly recommended actually for the beginner.
Yes, very much so. I guess a variation of that would be the find the rags to riches list, because that's one of the things that really gets a lot of people off the ground, is that if you follow the rags to riches plan, then effectively you will end up with a lot of cash in the bank to then go and choose the ship that you really, really, really want.
Yeah. I think these sort of guides, you know, these routes, or like you say, the rags to riches things, are great if for people that do find themselves a bit lost. I mean, some people just get the sandbox thing, I think, and are happy to just go off and have their own adventures, and they don't necessarily care whether they're profitable or whether they make mistakes or whether they follow the meta, or they're just happy to head on out there and do their thing. But I think for the people that are a bit lost and just don't know what to do, little guides like the rare run routes we've mentioned, like Rags to Riches, and something I've thrown in as well, which is the engineering journey, which maybe we'll come on to. I think are a great help for people that just need some kind of little script to follow.
Yeah,
You know.
I mean, this is one of the things where I think No Man's Sky has got it right, is that there is a sort of a 20-hour, is it a 20 or a 30-hour campaign? I can't remember which will sort of slowly introduce you to various aspects of the game. And I mean, I think they've tried it with a couple of the tutorials, which are hidden. They're kind of hidden away now, you know. But they never actually put it properly into the game, because I suppose it feels a bit theme park instead of sandbox.
Yeah. I think the
But
mission system, we touched on this a few weeks back, but I think the mission system could have done more to give people more. I was going to throw another one actually. I know we've
go on.
got this list and we're sort of not necessarily following it in order, but another one that occurred to me. Obviously, there's all the different professions, and something may appeal to you. You may fancy exploring or mining, and obviously following one of the trades is a great way to get into the game. If you do fancy exploring, then alongside the Rags to Riches thing, the new Michael Brooks tour is actually, you know, just a really nice thing to follow. It takes you to some great places. It gets you used to the idea of traveling, I suppose, quite long distances, but you know, with a sense of purpose. So that's another one I would throw in as a suggestion if you fancy covering some distances, just to follow the Michael Brooks tour. I forget where it
Yeah.
starts. I was going to throw it into the notes, but
No, well, I mean, what I like is as soon as you find one place in the Michael Brooks tour, it goes in a circle, so you can actually follow it round. Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah, it's a good place to start. Here's something that I think has been neglected for a while. When was the last time anybody did an SRV base assault?
What's one of those?
It's there are outposts, Old Horizon outposts, which are dotted about.
Right.
And you can actually go in and basically raid them.
For what for what purpose?
For mats and things like that. So if you're stuck for certain amounts of data,
Right.
there's the going around these the bases and actually scanning all the data points on there, and you'll get lots of mats that you needed for engineering. And of course, as soon as you start scanning, it all goes hostile and it all kicks off. I mean, there's also sort of missions for those bases to disable generators or steal data from them.
Yeah,
but
we touched on this once before, and I think Claire, I think these are the things that you just stuck the nose of your Corvette in. And
Oh,
did
you
them.
know what I thought it was, but normally I did those on the back of I would do those on the back of missions, like
Yeah.
going to a station and picking up a mission. So it rather than just saying SLV base assaults, just go to a station and pick up missions and see which ones you enjoy. I feel would be a much more broader way of saying, hey, just do this one thing. I'm not gonna lie, gang. I'm not super keen on telling people how to play video games, especially when there was open-ended assist. I get it. No, I get it. I get it.
So I think it's just about throwing some suggestions
For
out there. But
sure.
obviously, you're dead right though. Do what appeals. There's 100 different things you can do.
And I think rather than just saying SLV base assaults, because that just feels like it's so. Let's say I am brand new to Elite. I have done everything that you said, right? I've done everything that you said. I've got my Cobra and I'm sat here and I'm going, oh, what should I do next? And you turn to me and you go, do SLV base assaults. I will go, who the fuck are you and what are you talking about? An alternative would be, hey, you know how when you started playing, you maybe picked up a couple of missions and you maybe enjoyed some of those missions. There are a lot more missions if you go to another station. If you go to, pick a Coriolis. I tell you what's a good one to start with. Diagurandri, Ray Gateway. Diagurandri, Ray Gateway is a really good station because you can buy a lot of things cheaper because it's a that system, and you get a discount, and that's really cool because you probably don't have a lot of money. Maybe at that station you don't go there in open. Very good point. But when you all go there in open, see what happens. Throw caution to the wind. You might have some good interactions. But when you're there, there's a big list of you go to a terminal or go to your ship and open up the terminal on your ship and look at the missions that are there and see if any of them take your fancy. And then see if more take your fancy because it's good. You might find that doing missions is your jam. And then when you find that doing missions is your jam, you might be down to join a BGS group and start doing some BGS, which is exactly what I did.
And the great thing
it's a good way of introducing people to the BGS because I must admit when I first started out, the BGS didn't appeal whatsoever because everybody thought, okay, it's fine, our actions do something. It was only when I think the code managed to flip Leasty from being a member of the Alliance to being an independent system, did everybody wake up to suddenly realize, oh hell, this stuff really does work in the background. And then I think from that point on, it seemed, I mean, I don't know if you remember this, Ben, but it seemed that at that point there, that was the first point when people really became aware of what the BGS could do.
I remember that happening. I don't remember what the first, oh wow, it's this big. Am I dreaming, or do I remember Mike Brooks talking about it as this is something awesome that we can do? Or is that just a dream?
No, he did talk about the fact that your actions will add up to one point when where allegiances and systems could change. But I think up to that point, and especially with Leasty, because Leasty is stuck in the old lore so much, nobody thought that you could flip a system that was that deep in the arms of the Alliance. So when the Code flipped it to their faction, well, I know everybody who was an Alliance player, including myself at the time, we went ballistic trying to flip it back, and it took us ages to do it.
Yeah.
And I think at that point people suddenly realised, yeah, this BGS thing's got legs we can do. But back then, of course, there wasn't any player factions that you could sort of pin your flag to, or no squadrons anyway.
The thing I like about the BGS, and this actually helped me at a point where I'd sort of slightly run out of things to do, and there was that turning the wheel initiative, which was the one sort of time I got really stuck into BGS for a significant length of time. Is again its purpose. I mean, maybe I'm slightly unusual, but chasing credits when they're so sort of meaningless anyway, gives me no motivation to do anything at all. It's not like I'm going to go and do missions round and round because I can earn credits. That doesn't motivate me to play the game whatsoever. But having, purpose is one of the things that I constantly seek in this game, a sense of purpose, a reason to do stuff. And the BGS is great for that, because you start to care. You get involved with a group of people, maybe through Discord or something. You start to care about a set of factions, and then suddenly you've got a reason to do stuff.
Yes, because you're fighting for your faction, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I had that same. I never really got completely into the BGS. I never really pinned my allegiance to a certain faction, but that was completely different for power play. But I think, to tell you the truth, I think power play should be further up the tree, if you see what I mean.
Do you mean?
So I mean,
something you do sooner, or even later?
Later.
Yeah,
later.
yeah,
I think. I think at that point, if you're interested, well, if you are interested in doing PvP with a purpose, I think power play is fantastic. It's but yeah. Well,
yeah, I think maybe power
it's going to
play
be a bit.
in next week's discussion is like,
Yeah.
when you've done it all, then what do you do?
Yes, definitely. I mean, what do you guys think about starting to rank up with the superpowers? Is that?
I
Does
threw
that
this in there
appeal?
because it's a goal. It's something to aim for. I remember, I think you do missions, and then one of the things you learn quite quickly is that is about reputation, and you do more missions at the same place, you get better missions. So you pick up on that idea of reputation, and then I think the step up from that, which has a reward, at least in the case of the Empire and the Federation, is to do more of the same, but to rank up with superpowers, with a goal in mind of getting yourself an Imperial courier, or getting yourself obviously end goals like Federal corvettes and things, but they're way down the line.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? Again, it's a sense of purpose with something to aim for, which
I must admit, there is quite an achievement to actually get to the first ship. I think they've got the progression right just to get to that first ship in both the Imperials and the Feds. I mean, with the Imperials, I think isn't it the Imperial Eagle?
Oh, it probably is, isn't it? That's the first one. I should bring up the
Yeah.
table. And obviously,
I must admit,
federal ships, you've got the gunships and dropships and things, which
yeah.
I think a lot of it kind of depends on either you're min-maxing it and you care because of that, or roleplay reasons.
I think. Oh, I can't remember what I did for that. I think I did it for roleplay reasons.
I was going to say, didn't you do the Alliance stuff purely for roleplay?
Yeah, I did do, but I did end up going for an Imperial ships because, well, I like the look of the Imperial ships.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, well, everybody knows my opinion on the Federation, and I still don't have a Federal corvette. No matter how much of a nice ship I know it is, I still don't have one.
Better dead than fed neck, is that what you're saying?
Well, I do have some Fed rank. I don't think you can avoid it, but because
Yeah.
I was always, my head RP. I've always been independent, but fuck the feds. The feds did me dirty. So the feds did me dirty early on in my career. So I'm happily a prince in the empire or whatever the rank is, where you get the imperial cutter. Yeah, I think I'm fairly ranked up. Yeah, I can get to Aliath and things like that in the Alliance, and I've got like federal gunships or dropships or whatever it is. I can't remember. Did we get Sol as a ranking with ranking up the feds?
Yeah, you have to get to ensign, I believe.
So
Yeah,
I
mentioned
definitely
that.
wanted to get to Sol.
That was the first one. Yeah, me too. Actually,
Yeah.
You reminded me that was one of my early goals, was to get to Sol.
But yeah, the Sol, the feds did me dirty, so nah.
Can I bring Claire back into this for a second? Because I'm curious. Hi, when you started, did you start playing Elite before you started streaming, or was it kind of
Before. Before
right?
I started like to the to the YouTube comment section who think that I'm lying. I started playing Elite on in December of 2016. Which was
because I was curious when you started streaming how you decided what you were going to do.
Mostly, I think it was mostly BGS when I first started streaming, because I was like very, very, very much balls deep in with a faction which I'm glad I'm not part of anymore.
Yeah.
I was very, very much balls deep in with them, and I did an awful lot of BGS, and a lot of the BGS was in part also recruiting for that faction and that kind of thing. It was kind of a in between. Another way of like marketing that rather misleadingly for myself, marketing that particular community.
But
and then
you had good motivation of what to do on the stream.
yeah,
like,
I mean,
know what I'm going to do today.
I mean,
because
I never felt like I never. There's been a couple of times, actually more recently, when I've gone to log into Elite and gone, I really don't know what I'm going to do today. And honestly, whilst they have also been incredibly unhinged, they've been super fun, because it's just been like, well, let me just pick a direction and go, or let me go, okay, that's something that we haven't done for a little while, let's go and do that, or we go and listen to lore pieces again, and go and have a refresher on those kind of things. I really want to do like the Elite Dangerous things on stream as well, because I think that's a really good thing that people will be able to start on.
I think the idea is that in part 2 of this discussion we'll sort of cover the things that people that have been around a long time.
Yeah. I don't think it's it's a bad idea, even when you start playing, just to get yourself maybe a little bit ingratiated with the world that is occurring around you, even as you start, because then you will begin to find that investment. And I'm not just talking about just like BGS and joining a particular faction and having all sort of like player faction wars and things along those lines, but keep an eye on Galnet. Maybe go, oh, I don't really understand what that is, maybe I should have a look online and see if I can find anything more about it. The wiki, Drinky Bird will, the Drinky Bird site, who's listed all of the Galnets with a really nice search functionality, really, really useful for you just to pick up bits and pieces. There's also that whole thing on the Azimuth saga that was
on over there. I understand what in
and
your
I
bases
think,
are. Maybe I understand that there's
for
a war
sure.
going on over there.
And I think that that's something that I've seen from people, and I've spoke to with as far as like people are concerned, and different people who've come into the stream and and different people that maybe they don't hang around quite as often as other folks, but they're like,
I've seen the phrase, "Oh, I've played too long now. I feel like I wouldn't be able to get into the story. I feel like the story has missed me entirely." And I was also that person. I think it was probably 2018 before I even opened a Galnet article or something on those lines. I didn't really know what was going on. I knew when I started playing, I knew that Jax was up there, and there were travel guides going up to and from Jax and all of that, because it was around that time, and that was really cool. But the actual, I didn't know much about like the universe that Elite is set in, and I think the earlier you can sort of get to know what's happening, or what's happening in Elite, then it makes CGs more than just a money grab or things along those lines.
Very much so. I definitely think that the CGs. I think getting involved in the CGs as soon as possible when they are actually available. I think that's a good way to really introduce yourself to stuff.
Play in a private group.
Yeah,
mean,
but
if you're not wanting that, you play in a private group. You'll still see system chat.
Yeah.
The option is available to you if you still want to do that, but it's just
I know that, but
I've
seen plenty of newbies who have started out and they're going, "Oh, this sounds great," and of course, because they've done it in open, they get jumped on.
And they get jumped on.
They're not aware of the different levels of access that they've got.
You'll find that most people who are gearing for PvP, if they come across somebody who is entirely underskilled and underprepared for that situation, they will take their time out to explain where it went wrong if they are given that opportunity.
Yeah.
Because they don't want that to die either. They don't want that situation to die. It's not for me. It will never be for me. So I'm quite content in my little private group with its rules and all of that. But for those people who are into that kind of thing, go for it.
Mm. Well, you know what? I think we're going to leave this this conversation for the moment. We'll come back to it obviously next week with a little bit more advanced stuff for people to pick up on. Yeah, we've got the question of the week. Claire, what was the question of the week?
This week was had the promise to be possibly a little bit tempestuous, but I appreciate those of you who weren't. What if something you've changed your mind about while playing Elite Dangerous? And by that, I mean, is there something that you went into thinking that you weren't going to enjoy or love at all in the slightest, or something that you thought you'd love and then it turned out you didn't, or something that you were like, I'm not gonna do this, and then it turned out it was quite fun actually. So yeah, that was the question of the week this week.
Yeah, Alec, do you want to take the first response? You'll see why in a minute.
It might be a good idea.
Okay, this is from Epaphras, who says, "Death. I avoided blowing my ships and would be so annoyed when I did blow up. Then I started getting involved with the community and shenanigans. Now I don't mind shenanigans. Now I don't mind dying in game, and it's often a result of something amusing. Getting tased in the nuts, force shell yeeting, or crashing into a station at high speed, for example. Which brings me on to the second part. Wasn't sure if I would like buckyballing. Gave it a go and never stopped. I look forward to each race and seeing how much I can improve." Good man, well said.
Amazing, good choice.
And actually, I really agree with his first point as well. I used to be two things I used to be really averse to. One was dying, absolutely, and this was back in the day when I think griefers were far more prevalent, including some of the more notorious ones. And I do remember, getting my ship destroyed at a community goal, or somewhere popular that had been in Galnet by a griefer, and being so annoyed. And when I got into racing, buckyball racing, I was blowing myself up 15 times a morning trying to do something fast, and then being blown up once by a griefer was so meaningless. It kind of got me over the fear of losing my ship. And the other thing that maybe is more a me thing is I also used to be very reluctant to chop and change my ships with modules and outfitting, and somehow I sort of felt averse to messing with it once I'd got it nice. And again, buckyball racing, where I'd be stripping everything off for weight, or I'd be chopping and changing to get more speed, or kind of got me over that fear of of dying, and being of messing with things.
Yeah. Oh, it's me next. I actually responded to this. Well, two parts really. Pre-Odyssey, it was definitely open power play, which I thought I would never enjoy at all, because power play had the god-awful reputation. And at that point, with the what next thing, I'd got to the point where I've tried everything else. And there's a content drought, so I thought I'd try open power play, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yes, I died a lot of times, but I came to the conclusion that I'm actually enjoying winning by running away. Which is, that's fun. Post Odyssey, surprisingly enough, it was plant scanning. When I wanted a nice bit of chill gameplay, tick the box, because you fly out, you scan the plants, and you carry on going to wherever, a point in the galaxy that you've chosen. And you normally find a lot of very beautiful vistas, and very you just find it a very chill and relaxing way to play the game. You don't have to constantly try and save the galaxy from Thargoids, which is one of the lovely parts of this game. Psychic?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's me. It's
you.
I responded. It's me. Whole game, Elite Dangerous, as in a nutshell. I genuinely didn't think that I would enjoy it. Neither did Kremen, neither did Chris. We played. They were playing the video game, and I was like, I'm the third wheel, and I'm not playing the video game with my husband and my best friend. And I was like, I would like to play the video game, please. But I'm probably not going to enjoy it. Not going to like it at all in the slightest. I don't think I'm gonna build a platform out of it and be on 2 podcasts or anything along those lines. I genuinely thought that I would hate it, and I wasn't hooked straight away because it was hard and it was difficult, and I don't think I would have got through those first few hours were it not for Kremen and Chris literally being there every step of the way and being like, no, this is Claire, you're being a dickhead. Why are you doing this? And all of that kind of stuff. If I didn't have that support, I don't think I'd be playing it now. I don't know what I'd be doing now. But the game Elite Dangerous genuinely changed my life, and I've said this before many times about how important it is to me. And I find it hilarious that I never believed that I would enjoy it.
Well said. Might have been a tiny bit wrong then.
Just a smidge. It was the. I mean, yeah. I'd still. I'll reply to Blue in the chat, but it's fine.
Okay, Ben, you got the next one.
Right. Yep. So LCU No Fool Like One is saying big ships. He started out wanting bigger and bigger ships, but now he keeps going back to the Viper Mark III because it's so fast and responsive. And
yep.
He's
got a point,
I'm not going to disagree with him there. Yeah, I know. I admit I am currently in a cutter, but I'm currently in a cutter for reasons. I far prefer, I guess, mediums, crate or DBX or Cobra Mark III sized ships over the Corvette or the cutter or the Anaconda. So yeah, just because they're a lot more fun to fly.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll totally agree with that. Also, one thing that I've been looking at lately is, when you're looking at the ship stats on the shipyard on the new thing, and you press the equals sign, the equal key, in order to see what the actual stats are. The maneuverability rating seems to be very, very different from what was in Coriolis. It's bizarre. I don't know whether I've got it wrong. So something to call out to the community is Coriolis wrong now? Because it's saying that an Imperial Clipper is now more maneuverable than a Cobra.
It does take pips into account, doesn't it? So you do have to. You can change pips in Coriolis, which does affect things like that. I would imagine. So is it just that you're sitting on 222 pips and have forgotten to, get its optimum turn rate, or I don't know. Just a thought.
No, I'll show you what I mean.
I don't want to do. I don't want to do Coriolis a disservice, but am I right in? Do I remember that Coriolis was kind of going slightly out of date for a bit?
Coriolis is out
Tiberius
of
is saying
date.
that. Yeah,
It is
out of
yeah.
date. Yeah, it's not been updated for quite a while.
Right.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Because I know I moved from Coriolis to ED Shipyard, even though I prefer the look of Coriolis, and I'm sorry, ED Shipyard, but you guys have the right data, so I'm using ED Shipyard.
Yeah. Alec, next one.
Yeah, this is Silas Resi. Bit like you, Colin, actually. Thought exobiology would be dull as ditchwater, but it's ruddy addictive. And I always wanted a large ship to haul around in, but after a few years in T9s and Condors, I got back in an Eagle and actually started to enjoy just flying around. I love the small pad ships.
Yeah, that's the thing that I've always said, is that everybody seems to rush to the Anaconda, and I feel that you're missing out on so much just by that rush to the Anaconda, because the smaller ships are an absolute joy.
It's not that fun. I mean, it can do stuff. It's obviously got the jump range and it's got the capacity, and you can fill it full of modules and weapons, but it's not actually that fun to fly, really.
No, not really. Anyway, my turn again. And this is from JCP Digger. On foot combat. Originally, I hated the idea that Elite was becoming a shooter, and I'm still not very good. But I really do enjoy a bit of shotgun diplomacy.
Fair, that's absolutely fair.
Yeah, I must admit that has grown on me over the last couple of months, and I know maybe it's sort of that I want a palate cleanser from all the Thargoid fighting that I've been doing. That I've been getting involved in the occasional combat zone and improving my commander's mercenary rating. Psychic?
Oregon Viking says material grinding. Over a year they were not doing it. Then finally got talked into getting my engineering done, and now I talk every new player into getting it done. That's fair. Okay. So I know there will be a lot of comments along the lines of, material grinding is only a grind if you need it to be. But there were some points when we were talking about when you've designed your ship and you've made your ship all lovely and stuff, or you're ready to go out and build one of these monster ships. Even if you think you've got everything, I guarantee you were short on something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at that point, then I would say it is a grind. There is a grind there to do. But for the most part, a lot of it, especially if you're doing missions, if you're doing just bits and bobs within the galaxy, a lot of it you'll find that you kind of accumulate it over time anyway, and it's not that much of a grind anymore.
Yeah. I would say
think
that.
Oh,
sorry,
go on.
Colin.
Yeah. No, you first.
I was just going to say that I would say that true mat grinding, which I've done rarely, but I have done, is the one time when I'm really not playing the game. I mean, I'm killing it. I did it The most recent time I did it was when I guess it was when I was trying to get the ship ready to go into the Titan, and I was seriously short on something. I can't remember what it was, and I just decided to do laps of Dav's Hope, and it was mind-numbing. I wasn't playing the game. I just thought I just need to get this done, and it really was. Yeah, get it done is the best way I can describe it. It was. I'm not saying it was
Countering
not
that,
enjoyable, but it was just mind-numbing, really. So I don't recommend it at all. But I suppose there are occasions when you just need to get it done. Maybe, I don't know. Depends how much you care about the end result.
countering that, we've got Subsonic on Twitch who's saying material farming is a great zen after a tough day at work, in his opinion.
Well, that's okay, fine. I guess it depends what.
Yeah, you do you, I guess. And we all do each other. That
Far be it from us to tell you how to play the video game.
Exactly. Yes. And I have to admit, I mean, whilst I felt sick, I was loving just hoovering up, little bits of iron and all these shitty little grade 1 mats that I've used up over time. I was quite enjoying just hoovering them up yesterday.
I will say I do like, and this is particularly a thing for me in VR. Actually, maybe is I do quite like the repetitive things in VR. Some of my favourite times in VR was when I was I will say grinding. That's the best word for it. Rank, Imperial Federation rank, because I wanted to get the Corvette. So I was just doing the same. I think it was trade loops or mission loops. I can't remember what, but round and round and round and round. And actually, okay, I did enjoy that.
Yeah. So moving on to.
About...
Do you want to get your thing in, and then I'll go.
No, go on, Ben. If you go.
I was just going to push on. Okay. So Greg Rickshaw's saying the thing that I changed about my mind about most was open. I loved it at the start, and then I avoided it, and now I really wished it was just open. The game was so much richer, warts and all, when everybody was just in open. The game as a product is 1,000 times better, but I really miss the interactions.
Yeah, I must admit that is an issue about when you go solo, when you go private. I mean, yeah, they're trying to solve this a little bit by having the system chat window across all 3 instances, if you like. But yeah, sometimes the interaction, you do feel like you're missing out sometimes in open. But it's always that 0.1% that seems to cause the problems.
It's a really interesting one. This actually, the other thing I was thinking as Ben was reading this was, while I totally support the modes, and there was a comment from Phoenix Blue in chat. Yeah, I mean, I think the modes work brilliantly in lots of different ways. But what is a bit sad is, and I see it definitely a lot in my own friends list. When I log in, is people have their own affiliations. There's obviously a lot of people in the Burr Pit. The Burrs, being streamers, obviously tend to play in a private group, well, exclusively, I think. And I think as a consequence of that, a lot of the people that I know in the Burr Pit are also in that private group. And then obviously there's other people that have their own private groups, and it does divide the community. I play exclusively in open, so I log in and I've got sort of a dozen friends on, but we're scattered across 3 different private boots, a couple in solo and a couple in open. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame that it divides the community in that way.
Yeah. Which brings you on to you, Alec.
Oh, it does. I only just threw this in because I was struggling to think of an example, but I suppose there is a glaring one, which is that basically ever since 1984, I have loved Elite as a spaceflight game. I've often espoused that and said, what I love about the game is flying spaceships. And when Horizon's out, I won't say I was averse to it, but I had no conception of how much I would end up loving being in the SRV. That was quite a surprise. Obviously I deployed the SRV to go and explore that new bit of gameplay and collect mats, and I just love it. And if I'm truly honest with myself, I probably enjoy driving the SOV more than flying ships, which is quite a surprise.
Yeah, well, you've got your your reputation now, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's one of those things. I suppose I got good at it, and when you're good at something, it is fun. I'm not saying I'm bad at flying a ship, but yeah.
No, you've
The
said
other
it
thing,
now. That's exactly what you said. We're just gonna have to take that as read now.
bad at flying a ship.
Alec is bad at spaceships. Roger that. I've got you.
There it is. On
Very
record.
true.
Damn.
Breaking news, gang.
I didn't really enjoy the on foot stuff when Odyssey came out. I didn't really want it. But actually I'm coming round to it. The the biology game, the exobiology gameplay has sort of got me into the idea of being on foot, and I quite enjoying running around. And the Spire platform game, I have to confess, I'm I'm loving it. So yeah, on foot's growing on me.
And finally, we have Paul Eutropus, which I'm hoping I've got right. Fleet carriers. I've resisted for a couple of years because of the cost and the early negative press from some content creators. But in the end, I got one, and I haven't looked back since. Negative press from content. Yeah.
Who said there was shit? I'm gonna have a word.
Oh, it'll be Yamex.
I will
Yamex says
happily say
everything's
that fleet
shit.
carriers are shit and we shouldn't have them. They're
Go fuck
glorified
yourself, Ben.
menus.
Go fuck yourself.
Anytime, anywhere.
It's getting to the point, though, that I mean, I must admit, with some of this content, I'm feeling that I need to get myself a fleet carrier just to make things a little bit easier. Because, yeah, Little Biggins just said, fleet carrier, it's a big bag of holding.
Hell yeah, they are.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm slightly resentful. It's almost resentful. I sort of reluctantly feel I need a fleet carrier. Not need one, but it's just, like this recent mission where it turns out that the materials that you need to hand in for the first part of the Spire mission, you correct me if I'm wrong, but you can have them all stockpiled on your fleet carrier and then just load up and get the mission. And it's like, it's a bit crap. But I'm also slightly resentful of the fact that I'm lucky if I can complete 3 of these a week, and there's presumably people handing in hundreds of them. I don't know why should I care? I don't know why I care. I shouldn't care. If they want to hand in hundreds of them because they've got them in their fleet carrier, good luck to them, I suppose.
Yeah, so, well, that brings us to the end of the list. Good question, Claire, I thought.
There'll be another question. I'm really sorry for those of you who respond in Discord usually. I'm really sorry, but I didn't put it in Discord this week, and I realised that at probably about 2 hours ago. I realised that I hadn't put it in Discord, and by that point, we deemed it was too late for me to do so. So next week or on this weekend, I will endeavour to put it in Discord. Also, come join our Discord.
Excellent. We've got Captain MD Raider raiding us. I think he's by himself, but we're still a raid.
He has raided us. He's raided us with a party of 23. Welcome in.
Welcome
Cap.
23.
I was gonna raid you. I was gonna raid you at the end of the stream. Turns out we're not gonna do that. So cool.
Oh, well. Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately,
you raid each other.
The world turns in on itself and Twitch dies.
Yeah, it's like you end the internet when you type Google into Google.
We divide by 0. That's what happens.
Right. Well, I'm afraid, all you raiders, you've just arrived in time for us to sign out. So these are our shout-outs. Timing, guys.
It's all good.
Right, our sister station, Hutton Orbital Radio, it broadcasts on a Thursday at 8:30. You can tune in at twitch.tv Hutton Orbital Truckers, or if you just want the audio, go to radio.forthebug.com. For the discerning commander that likes a bit of CQC action, you can check out the CQC Discord at discord.me/EliteDangerousCQC. We'll also give shout-outs to the following Elite Dangerous podcasts. That will be The Guard Frequency and the lovely Loose Screws, who love cheese. And following this, we'll have the latest Galnet News Digest, as provided by Commander Witherspoon and Commander Beetlejude. We'd like to thank all those who've chipped in the Twitch chat. And have you had any in-game commanders, Ben?
No,
just
but I
been
have
flying
been
solo.
several hundred. Oh, I'm in open, but I am several hundred light years away. So yeah, I'm not surprised nobody's come to say hi.
Fair enough then. We'll also say special thanks to Commander Tokuso, JN Trax, and Alan Stroud, who have created music that we use in the show. So that's it for yet another episode of Lave Radio. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, then you can find the contact links in the home/contact us menu of the laveradio.com website. Do let us know if you have any questions or if there's anything you'd like us to discuss in a future episode. And I am checking the emails. Honest. Lave Radio is recorded live on a Tuesday evening at 8:30 and streamed out live on laveradio.com/live. So, thanks to Ben.
Thank you, Colin.
Thanks to Claire.
Cheers, gang.
Thanks to Alec.
Thanks, Colin. And remember, folks, there's no wrong way to play the game.
And of course, special thanks goes to today's tech specialist, the Chris Mark 5.
Thanks.
So until next time, Commanders, fly safe. And if you can't do that, fly dangerous.
Is your life like this?
Sounds like someone having an orange inserted. Need a safe word.
Space can be low.
I'm gonna see the galaxy.
Damn it. No worries, guys. Hold the fort for 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Galnet News Digest, 14th of November 3309. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, an Imperial research scientist suggests that killing those rescued from the Thargoid Titans might be necessary. President-elect Winters, entirely unsurprisingly, rejects Hudson's parting proposals. And we consider whether Professor Palin's poisoning plan bears a similarity to Commander John Jameson's mycoid virus.
Opinions are as mixed about the Thargoid Titan returnees in the Empire as elsewhere, but a call this week to consider euthanasia for them has caused widespread dismay. The call comes from an article in the Citizen's Chronicle written by Dr. Zoe Terentia, chief researcher at Cammodino Medipure. Dr. Terentia claims to have detected autoimmune responses in Imperial subjects who have been rescued from the Titans. Autoimmunity is where the body has an immune response against itself, sometimes as a result of invasive viruses mutating cells. In this case, the cause seems to be caused by barely detectable physiological changes, and is not in itself life-threatening, but Dr. Terentia sees the immune responses as evidence that the Thargoids have in some subtle way changed their captives' physiology. Describing these changes as mutations, Dr. Terentia recommended that those rescued from the Titans should be moved to a secure location outside inhabited space and monitored closely for any further signs of mutation. If there is any risk of the Thargoid mutation spreading to the wider population, Dr. Terentia recommends that those rescued should be put to death, and the bodies treated as biohazard material. Senator Caspian Leopold, who is part of the Imperial delegation to Aegis, agreed that caution is vital, and that those rescued must remain in enforced medical isolation whilst there is any doubt about the safety of rehabilitating them into society. However, he rejected both Dr. Terentia's demand for extreme levels of biosecurity and Azimuth's earlier demand to be allowed to investigate and experiment on those rescued. Describing Azimuth as butchers, he said the Senate has rejected Azimuth's Nassim Kadir's request and said that the Empire continues to hold that it wants no further association with Salvation's organisation. Addressing Dr. Terentia's concerns, he pointed to research carried out by the Imperial Science Academy which identified tissue scarring in the bodies of those rescued from the Titans. Its xenological expert, Ivano Columbera, reported that the life support systems used by the Thargoids were intrusive, and the Academy considered a limited immune response to the Thargoid technology to be perfectly normal. This does, however, leave open the so-called War of the Worlds question of whether separately evolved and previously isolated organisms, such as the Thargoids, might be harbouring viruses or other pathogens that might prove deadly to humanity. And there are still those who believe the far-fetched theory that those rescued from the Titans might, after their release back into society, turn into a zombie army fighting on behalf of the Thargoids and probably wearing caustic green suit cosmetics to show which side they're fighting on. That's clearly never going to happen.
President-elect Winters says she'll fight President Hudson's valedictory salvo of legislation. But Core Dynamics says that it welcomes the massive tax rebates that have been proposed. According to Winters, Hudson's draft legislation has only been put forward because of Jerome Archer's poor performance in the polls. Winters didn't bring out a huge vote, but it was enough to defeat Hudson's chosen successor, Archer, who was immensely unpopular, mainly because he was responsible for the creation of the domestic spy network, the Proactive Detection Bureau. Archer will become the shadow president, and Winters is convinced that Hudson is attempting to tip politics in his favour, and to make life difficult for her in what is technically her second term. Hudson's proposals are to have a publicly funded right-wing think tank, a media regulation authority that'll be in the pocket of the Republicans, to provide the Proactive Detection Bureau, which Winters has pledged to abolish, with military technology, and give massive tax breaks to military contractors such as Core Dynamics. Core Dynamics CEO Owen McKenna has said that the tax cuts will help offset the reduced military spending that he alleges Winters has proposed, and help to keep Core profitable. McKenna also pointed out that cutting military spending in the middle of the Thargoid invasion makes no sense at all. President Hudson has passed form working behind the scenes with Core Dynamics. After his close friend, Fleet Admiral Vincent, had sabotaged President Halsey's policies on onion head control, it was also Vincent who sabotaged the presidential flight Starship One, leading to the loss for nearly a year of President Halsey and to Hudson's ascendance to the presidency. It was years later, in 3307, that Vincent was found guilty of having received bribes from Core Dynamics to sabotage the Starship, ostensibly to prevent Halsey from cutting military spending. Vincent was denied a public trial and is held in solitary confinement in a high-security facility, so he has not had the opportunity to implicate Hudson. However, suspicions in liberal circles are strong that Hudson may have backed the attempted assassination of his predecessor in order to gain power. The only complication in this theory is that the CEO of Core Dynamics at the time was Jupiter Rochester, one of the sons of Liberal President-elect Isolde Rochester, Winter's second in command. Like Vincent, Jupiter Rochester is serving a life sentence following his failed insurrection against the people of the Federation.
Peace activists have been expressing concern that Professor Palin's plan to poison the Spire sites may become a repeat of the disastrous mycoid virus incident. Palin, working with Aegis, has identified that the Spire sites are being used to resupply essential materials to the Titan motherships, which form the core of the Thargoid invasion. Aegis has established a program of systematic sabotage of the materials at the Spire sites. Coordinated from rescue ships, commanders bring back commodities gathered from the Spire sites, which are then converted into a contaminant that is placed into containers on the spires, and which Professor Palin hopes will impact the ongoing operation of the Titans. The plan to introduce contaminants into the Thargoid hive ships bears some resemblance to the sabotage of an earlier type of Thargoid mothership in 3351, when a Commander John Jameson delivered a contaminant known as the mycoid virus, developed by INRAR in association with Azimuth Biochemicals. The effect was reportedly devastating, with both Thargoid technology and the Thargoids themselves severely damaged. The attempted strike by the same organisation that made a second attempt at genocide in August last year using the Proteus wave weapon was widely condemned as unethical, and the discovery of Azimuth's involvement played some part in its fall from favour. However, it is undeniable that the subsequent Thargoid retreat led to more than 150 years of peace. It is unclear what effect Professor Palin's contaminant will have on the modern hive ships. Will it simply reduce their effectiveness, making them vulnerable to being driven out of human space? Or will the Thargoids crewing them be wiped out in a similar manner to victims of the mycoid virus? What actions are ethical in times of war? Can we legitimately do anything we need to protect our homeworlds? Or do we need to think of the Thargoids as sentient beings who deserve compassion too, even as they strike deep into our territory? The morality of war is complex. But for many of us, these ethical matters are moot, because it's way too difficult to get our hands on the semi-refined spire minerals that are needed for the contaminant, even if we wanted to.
And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the news so you don't have to.